Hey guys, this is a very special guest. Aiden is a amazing actor. I've seen his work, and I invited him over to the show, to the series of YouTube where we try to inspire young actors, actresses, directors, gaffers. And I thought Aiden's story would be amazing. So, Aiden Martinez, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I came to New Jersey like 2015, right after high school, and I went to university here. Hated it. Then I ended up moving to Manhattan and transferred to the New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts, which is primarily film and TV based. I graduated there in 2019, and I've just been on the actor grind since then.
I have a question. Where did you come from?
Texas, Seguin, Texas. It's in between Austin and San Antonio.
So, that said, why didn't you go to LA?
In Texas, we have these thespian conventions. So during high school, there's like a week where you go to a different part of Texas, and it's like all the high schools come together. And your senior year, you have the option to audition in front of a whole bunch of schools. And the school in New Jersey gave me a really good grant, so that's my deciding factor to move up here.
Have you been to LA?
I have not been to LA yet. That's one place that I really want to go, and I'm starting to feel like that's going to be in my future sooner rather than later. I don't know why I have the feeling, but I do.
How long have you been doing the acting part of things in New York? And what do you say when you say grind? What does that mean?
So for me, the grind is, I guess, an accumulation of all of it. School, conservatory, and then after that, it's primarily just auditions and fighting for yourself and creating your own content and advocating for yourself and pushing yourself to find more auditions and go to more auditions and book more jobs. And you have to be your number one like supporter in order to keep yourself motivated to keep on going. So, and then also while all doing all that while having a regular job so that I can support myself and pay my rent, and then still being able to make time to go home too and see my family and everything. It's just like the actor grind for me is all of it while staying focused on my goals and my dreams and my ambitions.
What is it that you do other than acting?
I was a server for 10 years, and I hated it. People are very mean sometimes. So I decided during the pandemic, I lost my last serving job, like as many of us lost our jobs. And I decided I never wanted to go back again. So I've been doing catering a lot since then, which is like serving, but it's not. I primarily work at NBC and I get to deliver snacks to like the Jimmy Fallon show, the Seth Meyers show. But then with this writer strike, they let me go from that job for the time being. And I've been doing like random catering gigs throughout New York.
Do you still recommend or advise a young uh, person to get into the industry and go through the grind?
It's almost impossible for us right now to make ends meet by just doing acting jobs. You have to have some source of income to be able to survive yourself and sustain this incredibly hard life of an actor.
So, why do you do this?
There's been a lot of times in my life where I'm like, I wish more than anything that I can like some kind of 9 to 5 job where you go to the office and you make your money and you go home and it's all uh, like lucrative and you can see yourself moving up in the company. But that sounds like it would be the worst thing in the entire world for me, and I never would ever want to do that unless I'm acting it.
So you are driven by your heart.
Yeah.
Now, is that the majority of actors that you know? Is that the reason why they do it?
This career is not one for the weak, and I've heard it be said a lot that if there's anything else that you can see yourself doing, do it.
Tell me a little bit about your support system.
My family is very supportive of my career and my drive to just follow my dreams. I feel like a lot of people in my family didn't get that chance or that opportunity or take themselves seriously enough to go for it. And I'm grateful that I have that at home. And then I also have my friends like June and my crew from the Go To and like friends from college and my conservatory. It's just really nice to have built a good, solid support system on the way up so that whenever I have wins, I can celebrate them. And when my friends have wins, we can celebrate them as well.
So you have to deal with that. Then you have to deal with the lack of work. Then you have to deal with the union strikes, and then you have to deal with day to day income and so on and so forth. How does one mentally prepare for so many challenges?
I guess for me, my past and like how I was raised had a lot to do with it. I came from a really rough childhood. It was not an easy childhood by any means. And so that kind of built up my thick skin, as one would say. And also starting acting from such a young age, I got used to rejection from the start. So it's something that's been built up with me as I went through my growth as an actor. It takes a while, and with those first rejections suck and they hurt your heart really bad. But once you realize that it's not all about you, in the sense of it can just be you don't look the right part, you don't, your audition could have been amazing but they decided to go something completely different. It's not always about you and your performance. And that's something that I've had to learn. And that's something that I would suggest to people to learn and to just let that sink in, is that it's not always about your ability as an actor.
Could you share why your childhood was so rough?
My mom was a crack addict from the time I was 6 till I was like 13. And my dad was in prison from before I was born until I was like 22 and a half years old. I was raised by my grandparents. My grandma was obese, and my grandfather was a little bit of an alcoholic. And so there were a lot of challenges thrown at me. And um, I don't know, I feel like all of it made me who I was. Baby Aiden did not deserve the life that he had, but adult Aiden is grateful for it because it made him who he is.
Do you think that escapism was one of the reasons why you wanted to act and become someone else?
One of the main reasons, and I remember saying this often, that I wanted to act was because I didn't have to be myself and I got to be somebody completely different for a few hours, and I got to live a completely different life. And slowly but surely, growing up and maturing and deepening my craft, I've learned that in order for you to give your best performance, you have to have a part of you in it and you have to be vulnerable like that. But yeah, escapism was definitely a main factor for loving it in the beginning.
So, if you were given a role that you didn't believe in, would you do it?
I want to be able to give my all to every project that I'm a part of, and I want to be able to believe in it, because if I don't believe in it, then the audience won't believe in it. And then what's the point of me doing it if I'm not fully 100% committed?
And I believe that is a process that all actors follow. It doesn't matter whether you are Tom Cruise or whether you are anybody else, an actor will always go by the gut of belief. So, how difficult is it to act in two lives? One is the catering life, and one is the acting life.
I try my hardest to stay the positive Aiden no matter what situation I'm in, so that I can always be my best self in every situation. But there are plenty of times where I wake up for catering jobs, and I'm like, I really don't want to do this today because this is not my career, this is not my goal, this is not what I want to do. But I know that I need to eat and I like eating. And so I go to work and I'm grateful that I'm really personable and I make friends easy. So I always think about all the new friends that I can make at work and I get excited about that, if that makes
You
sense.
try to find good in every situation.
I try. I really try. It is hard sometimes, but I try.
So let me ask you a question. How did the go-to project with June happen?
I met June in 2021. In November, we were doing background. We're both background actors as well as actors, but we were doing FBI Most Wanted, and there was this like scene where we had to walk around the mall, and we were like running from a shooter that day, and when I saw June in my head, I've had this happen multiple times in my life, but when I saw June, I was like, we're gonna be friends. And lo and behold, the producer, the background guy, had us be paired together, and it was great. We sat there, or we stood there really, and we walked around the mall and we just talked the entire day. And then by the end of the day, she was like, "Hey, I'm doing this project. Would you like to be part of it?" And I was like, heck yeah, June.
Tell me the process. Did you ask her questions? What happened?
When I first read the script with me in it, because the first episode isn't, I'm not part of it yet, but the second episode is where I come in and reading how she wrote these lines for me with me in mind. To date, the go-to is one of my favorite projects I've been a part of because I've never got to be so authentically myself on camera or on screen in general. And I've never seen somebody like me on screen. And it just made my heart so happy to read that and know that I get to be a part of that. And I don't know, it was just a blessing to be frank.
Well, so what is your next goal? Like, what is your next step?
My goal is to get an agent so that I can have access to bigger and more lucrative projects. I feel like that is definitely my next step in the career and the field. I still need to book my first co-star, a guest star, and I really truly want to do more commercial work. I love doing commercials. It's one of my favorite things.
How does one go about in New York getting themselves an agent?
Well, there's a lot of different ways. Usually with school, through school, if you go that route, they have a showcase at the end of your time there. My school, in lieu of a showcase, we had our own reels. So they like spent money and got us our own reel, which was nice, but not a showcase. And right now, thankfully, this actual next week, I'm going to be part of a showcase that group of actors had put together themselves. And it's like something that hasn't been done before, where actors get together and do it themselves with nobody else. We invited a whole bunch of agencies and casting directors and uh, just a whole lot of people. And we're going to also, we've had a lot of requests for it to be filmed so we can send it out as well. And that's the primary way to do it without having all these submissions or you submitting yourself to all these different agencies when the chances are they're not even going to open the email. It's pretty exciting to do a showcase.
What is background? What do you do? What's your job?
Background acting is when you're watching TV and you see there's the two people on camera who are talking, right? The people who are in the background who fill up and create the environment of the show, of the film, of the commercial. Those people are background actors or extras, as some people would call them, and they just bring the world to life.
Your goal is to be the actor. So how does it make you feel being the background?
One thing that I've learned is that I had to take ownership of this myself and figure out what my journey is, and everybody's journey is different. And for me, being on set in general is better than not being on set at all. And I love, love, love being part of these films and TV shows and commercials that are making waves in the world. And I get to know that I got to be a little part of that and help create that world. And I get to meet amazing friends like June. If I wouldn't have done background work, I would have never met June and none of this would have ever happened. Um, you never know who you're going to meet and you never know who you're going to be standing next to who could be your best friend for the rest of your life. And why would you want to block yourself from those possibilities and those realities if you don't allow yourself to just go out there and be on set? If you want it, you'll do it.
So, has it ever happened to you where you are the background and the actor is doing his or her job, and you stand over there and you say to yourself, I can do it better?
I don't know. I try I try my hardest to not be judgmental of other people's performances, because at the end of the day, at that moment, they are there and I am there. So like we I if I feel like I could do it better, then I should have had in my head, I feel like I should have had an agent already. I should have done this. I should have done that already. And then I would have had that opportunity to be able to do it better. So who am I to say, oh, I can do it better if I'm not there, if that makes sense?
How can you encourage a new actor who's just coming into the industry?
Find the little things about acting that make it worth it for you. Enjoy the process, enjoy auditioning, and enjoy creating your own work if you want to work because you have to fight for your opportunities and your chances in this industry, and if you're not fighting for you, then who will?
You've been amazing, and I will definitely make it a business to know you better, Aiden.
Thank you.
And you're amazing. And keep up the good work. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much. Thank you so much, Ejaz. I really appreciate this.